All right, we're back. Episode 13 of Dynasty Trades in 5. I am Clay with Dynasty Trades in 5 and DynastyPandemic.com.
I'm Shane at Shane is the Worst with a bunch of stuff.
Scott at Dynasty and Chill, at Charles Chill FFB, Mannequin Chill, Chasing the Helmet, Dynasty Trades in 5. A lot more stuff that I won't list, but thank you, Shane, for giving me your time to do my introduction. I appreciate you.
Good stuff. All right, so yesterday we posted a Twitter poll, and who ended up winning it? Who did we do last night? Javonte Williams. Second place was Darrell Henderson, so that's who we're doing tonight. Obviously, he's a popular guy, being traded a lot, so I figured we'd just run through a couple specific trade scenarios and see what you think, and then we can chat about them along the way.
Real quick, and you weren't going to know I was going to do this, but I just wanted to do this. The smart play was to trade for Henderson earlier in the year, like I did, off of people like this guy Scott, who had no faith in Henderson. But me, a true believer, was like, this guy's going to smash this year, so I'm going to make the trade right now, because now people are just clamoring for some Henderson. But that's besides the point.
So let me ask you guys this. I'll go back to a trade I made with involving Darrell Henderson. I had the blessing from you two gentlemen, I believe. This was a few months ago, or maybe a couple months ago. I traded Darrell Henderson and a 2022 second for Mike Davis and a 23 first. Where's your head at on that nowadays?
At the time, the process was right. You were essentially flipping a coin on which running back you could use for the short term, because I think we have to establish a couple rules with running backs. I mean, their careers are notoriously short, but their actual usage or predictability or whatever you want to call it, like, it's literally year to year. There's very few players you can say when we get to January where you're going to put this running back on a list where they're insulated. They can't be impacted by the draft, a free agent signing, a new coach, a new offensive coordinator. Like, all those things can change how running backs get used, and it creates volatility. It was valued as back then, which was a high leverage handcuff with draft capital. Has flashed, never really stayed healthy, so you didn't really know like what he could do if there wasn't anybody in his way. But then he got the opportunity. He had an injury ahead of him. The team, I guess, kind of was confident in him, but he's shown that they should be confident in him going forward. But how does that continue? Does it continue into next year? But that's where he came from. So I think your process is right, and we'll get into some trade ideas with Henderson. But I think the process was right. Obviously, now you look back and you go, okay, if that second and the first aren't that big of a difference, I would much rather have Henderson.
Darrell Henderson and a 22 first, which is going to be mid, or Jerry Jeudy and a 23 first.
Oh, you keep throwing out these 23 firsts. The 23 firsts are so valuable, in case anyone doesn't know, but we know because we're pros, man. We know the 23 class is stacked. And Jerry Jeudy is, I mean, I guess he's worth the first for him by himself. I don't know if I want to switch that 2022 first for a 2023 first. Like, that could be the really big difference there. I could swallow it, though, if I'm a contending team, and I'm buying running back production, which is a terrible process, but whatever. We're getting to the point of the year where I don't care about process anymore because I want to win money. So I could definitely see myself pulling the trigger on that trade, not being happy about it and not knowing that I've probably lost that trade.
What about you, Scott?
I think the issue is it's week 7. And so, I mean, sure, you think you're buying really good running back production right now, but is it going to be the same situation when you actually need it? And you need it every week. I mean, don't get me wrong. I've taken the approach with some teams. Oh, hey, I'll get running back production later. Meanwhile, those teams are 2-4, 3-3. Every week I'm searching for running backs. Now, what I've found is I actually, and this is getting into some high level theory, we're not going to have time to talk about it, but I found on the teams where I'm just absolutely desperate at running back, I've actually had luck with all the injuries this year going out and buying like Dearness Johnson for a third.
Let me ask you this. I'm a contender in a league, but I don't have much depth. And I acquired, I guess I have 4 23 firsts at this point that I'm sitting on, but I kind of have a shot to win. Would you give a 23 first straight up for Darrell Henderson?
Yes.
Even if my depth is total crap.
Yes.
And I acquired those for a reason. Still give it up.
Yeah. Here's the thing. My depth's total crap in most leagues anyway. Depth is nice to have, but like, it's the top tier players that are going to win me the championship. And I can live with if I trade for Darrell Henderson and I give up a first and he blows a knee out 3 weeks later. And at least I went for it, as opposed to trading him for a couple of middling pieces that, continue to middle. Yeah, middle. I think that's what middling pieces do. They middle.
They middle.
I mean, I think that makes sense. I think on the other hand, though, like I'm the type of aggressive dynasty manager that if I'm 5-1 and I have Darrell Henderson and I have Khalil Herbert, Darrell Williams, a couple of those guys on my bench, I'll trade somebody that's my competition, Darrell Henderson, for the 2023 first, with the caveat, hey, you got to throw me back Alex Collins. You got to give me one of the guys you don't feel confident enough that starts, but in 2 weeks, that guy could be in the mix for me to start. So it's really just a coin flip that, hey, I just banked a first. And if I hit on the guy that you traded me, okay, now I'm cooking with gas. You know what I mean? Now I have your first and I may beat you. That's how you build dynasties.